Jason Costigan hopefully with us now to talk some rugby league. Jason, Costo, how are you?
Brendan, good afternoon to you. Nice to be with you, and holding the fort today. Nice to be with you.
Trying to. You've only got another half an hour to go, so don't be too hard on me.
It's been likewise.
It's been a long week. I suppose we should start with the story which we've been running since about lunchtime. Shaun Johnson has been, not surprisingly, given the way he's been playing this year, he's got clubs sniffing around, and the West Tigers are interested in signing for 1 year. Have we heard any figures? Have any figures been bandied around?
No, I haven't seen any figures, but I want to make the point too, and I don't know if this has been digested by the New Zealand Rugby League community in terms of this story that's doing the rounds, and it will continue to do the rounds. Look, just to bring everybody up to date, West Tigers have had a major appointment in recent times, and they have a new head of recruitment in Scott Fulton, who's turned up at Concord. Now, the story that broke regarding Shaun Johnson, and he's obviously off contract at the Warriors at the end of the season. Scott Fulton has turned up at Concord at the West Tigers, but prior to his arrival, the Tigers were exploring the option or the possibility of bringing him back to Australia to have a season with the West Tigers next year. Now, I think a lot to do with this, of course, surrounds the future of Luke Brooks, who's the much maligned playmaker for the West Tigers. He has had a hell of a time in terms of people from all walks of life having a crack at him, and how the West Tigers, with him in the halves, they just can't make the finals. And if you look at the history books, there's plenty of ammunition there, but I think it's a bit harsh to say it's all his fault. Now, putting that aside, if Brooks leaves the West Tigers, they're going to need somebody, and they probably will make a genuine play then for Johnson. Now, I understand that the Warriors are also advancing the concept of having a contract extension before Shaun Johnson and his management. If I was the Warriors, I'd try and get that put to bed pronto, because Shaun Johnson is a terrific player. I think he's got still plenty to offer. I will sum up this, Brendan, by saying that Vinnie Anderson, who I called many years ago at Sky Television playing for the Warriors, and I think also maybe the Kiwis, if memory serves me right, but it's a long time ago. But only last weekend, at the age, I think, of 44, and I say this, 44, he finally put the cue in the rack in the south of France. Now, if Jono's body holds up, why wouldn't you bat on? And I think he's still got some good football in front of him. So watch this space.
Yeah, what is he, about 31, I suppose, is he, Shaun Johnson at the moment? I think he wouldn't be any more than that, would he? 31, 32?
Well, either way, I mean, the date of birth to me is largely irrelevant. You know, if there's question marks, and there has been question marks about his ability to string together consecutive matches and not be bogged down by injury. Because once that starts happening, people who run rosters, who look after the lists and the finances accordingly, then start, downgrading the value of the player. So you can always bring in a player, but how much are you willing to pay for the player? So Brooks is on big coin at the West Tigers, rightly or wrongly. And somebody at some point in time said, we're going to give you big coin. So it's a subjective feel, isn't it? Some people will say, he's worth $1 million, or no way, he's worth $750,000. So, it's not like accounting. It's more like real estate. So, someone might say, hey, I've got a block of land for you? You might think it's rubbish.
So are there any players, I'm thinking of whether it's Jason Tomilano, is there anyone in the NRL that's on a $1 million a year contract?
Well, there are. There's quite a number of players. As I understand, there's quite a lot of players. I think the only club where that is not applicable is the new chums to the competition with the Dolphins. And so the Dolphins, I want to remind people again, particularly your audience, the New Zealand audience, for those people who didn't come down on the last shower of rain, the Warriors got the green light in 1992 to join a competition in 1995. Then 3 clubs followed after the Warriors, they being the Cowboys, the now-defunct Western Reds, based in Perth, and the now-defunct South Queensland Crushers, based at Suncorp Stadium. Those 3 clubs came in November of 1992, or at least that's when they got the green light in terms of the licence. But the Dolphins haven't had anywhere near the lead-in time, so there are mitigating circumstances why the Dolphins don't have that $1 million player. It's potentially true that if they had more time, they might have got $1 million player on the books this year. That player could have been Cameron Munster, but it wasn't to be.